What if the Empire captured Yoda on Dagobah? Let's explore the depths of it in this video.
Luke?
Ben?
You will go to the Dagobah System.
Dagobah System.
There you will learn from Yoda, the Jedi Master who instructed me.
Ben!
Luke watches the ghost fade away, wondering if it is real or hallucination. He doesn't have much time to think as he passes out in the snow. Little does he know that a probe droid is watching the exchange and sends the data back to the Imperial fleet. For most Imperial soldiers, this is simply a dying rebel scout who got caught in a blizzard. But Vader sees the exchange for what it is. Turning around, Vader orders that one of the Imperial Star Destroyers head towards Dagobah. No one dares question the Dark Lord, and one ship breaks off from the fleet. Even with this reduced strength, Death Squadron still has enough troops to crush the Rebel Alliance on Hoth. This is proven true as the Imperial forces descend on Hoth near the Rebel base, and deploy a battalion of Imperial soldiers in armored vehicles. Together these crush their defenses and force the Resistance into a hasty retreat, though many leaders including Leia, Han Solo, and Luke manage to escape. The latter is among the last of the evacuees, boarding his X-Wing just as Echo Base is overrun. However, instead of heading directly to the rendezvous point, Luke says he needs to take care of some business first. As Vader and his troops storm the facility, he senses that Luke has left the system. He leaves the stormtroopers to handle the mop-up operations and follows after him on his fighter. Luke arrives to see a Star Destroyer hovering over the planet. He lands far away to avoid being spotted by the ship and begins his search. However, he carefully approaches the area where the Star Destroyer is, deducing that the Empire must also be searching for Yoda. By the time he lands, a battle is taking place. Dead stormtroopers are scattered across the swamps, all crushed with the Force or sliced with a lightsaber. Luke follows the dead bodies deeper into the swamp, where the blaster fire grows louder. He nearly runs into a group of stormtroopers who fire their blasters in the air. Suddenly, a tiny shadow descends on them in a blur. The stormtrooper shots go wild, but a pair flies across the swamp and smacks against a tree. A green light flashes, and the rest drop to the ground. Luke approaches him. One of the stormtroopers begins to get up and raises his blaster. Luke pulls out his own gun and takes him out. Yoda glances back at the smoking stormtrooper and nods his head.
My thanks, young one.
Are you Yoda?
Indeed I am. And who are you?
My name is Luke. Obi-Wan sent me.
Oh, young Luke, you are.
Before Yoda can say more, gunfire rings out from the trees, forcing the pair to dive out of the way. More stormtroopers arrive and begin to advance on them. Luke fires back while Yoda channels the Force on them. Each wave of his hand sends them flying. Yoda leaps in the air and prepares to finish them. But before he can attack, a powerful shove sends him slamming into the tree. The old Jedi rolls to the ground, groaning in pain. Before he can get up, he is lifted in the air and held in place. From the shadows, a figure all in black. Luke attempts to help Yoda by firing at the new figure, but he ignites a red lightsaber and blocks the attack. With the flick of a wrist, he pulls Luke's gun from his hand, allowing his stormtroopers to pin him down. Yoda tries desperately to break free, but the newcomer's power is too strong. He senses a familiar presence from the figure. This knowledge causes his eyes to widen before a stun round hits him. The stormtroopers begin to carry Yoda off while Luke struggles against their grip. The dark figure approaches him and orders the guards to stop. To Luke's surprise, he offers a hand to him.
Luke, I sense great power in you, but it is raw and untamed. I can help you.
You? You're Palpatine's second in command.
I indeed serve the Empire. but I am no friend of the Emperor. I seek to overthrow him too.
Why would I trust you?
You came here in search of training, did you not? I can offer you that. You appear to be short on options.
He gestures towards Yoda, whose unconscious body is being dragged off. However, Luke draws himself up defiantly and shakes his head, saying he'll never join him. The Dark Lord is disappointed and orders his troopers to escort Luke to his ship. For many days, Luke remains his prisoner, languishing in the bridge, though Vader visits him several times, attempting to urge him to join him. During one of these meetings, the two begin talking.
You came to learn the ways of the Force. I can show you far more than Yoda ever could.
Why should I trust you?
Luke, you do not yet realize your importance. You have only begun to discover your power. Join me, and I will complete your training. With our combined strength, we can end this destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy.
I'll never join you!
If you only knew the power of the dark side. Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father.
It's not true. That's impossible!
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
No!
Luke, you can destroy the Emperor. He has foreseen this. It is your destiny. Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
With that said, Vader leaves Luke to ponder what he's learned. For hours, Luke meditates and searches within the Force for the truth. To his horror, he feels no deception in Vader's words. Hours later, he contacts Vader and says he will join him. Pleased with this, the Dark Lord begins Luke's training in secret. It's too risky to train Luke aboard his ship, so Vader takes him to Dathomir, where the dark side flows strongly. Here, Vader begins Luke's training. He teaches him how to channel both sides of the Force, letting it feed off his emotions. That includes his anger and doubts, things that are strong in Luke. Though Vader might be his father, he still remembers him as the man who killed old Ben and his aunt and uncle. Rather than try to calm him, Vader eggs him on. This training takes weeks, but Luke soon learns to harness his powers. Without any training in the light side, fewer things are holding him back. However, Vader notices Luke is still not fully committed to his training. Though he learns every lesson, his heart is not in it. Instead, his thoughts return to Yoda, who is rotting in a prison. This proves to be a hindrance to their training as it allows Luke to cling to the dark side. Sensing this challenge, Vader begins to whisper in Luke's ear how the Jedi is lying to him and does not have his best interests at heart. He reminds Luke that Obi-Wan lied to him about his father, but remains adamant. Finally, Vader offers a proposition. He will allow Yoda to train with him on Dagobah, but they will also see if Yoda lies to Luke about his father. If he does, then it is proof that the Jedi are deceitful. Luke accepts the challenge and helps free Yoda from prison, where the two escape back to his home. Once they reach Dagobah, Luke asks to learn the ways of the Jedi to defeat his father, claiming that he wants to destroy him. Yoda looks over the young man and senses the dark side in him. It is similar to what he felt in Anakin so many years ago. After not seeing him for weeks, he's worried that Luke might have become compromised. However, he agrees to train him, though this distrust keeps some distance between them. He teaches Luke the ways of the Force, showing him how to manage his emotions, the different lightsaber forms, and how to discipline himself. Although quite different from the training Vader put him through, it is no less exhausting or rewarding, as Luke proves to be a natural at harnessing the Force. While this happens, Luke continues to ask about his father and the Jedi of the past. Yoda remains evasive, either avoiding the topic or distracting Luke with training. This doesn't escape the young Jedi's notice, who grows more frustrated by his non-answers. He allows himself to slip into the dark side, allowing his anger to flow through it, rather than quash it as Yoda instructs. He angrily demands to know who his father is and what he did. As he speaks, Yoda feels the anger emanating around him. Yoda grits his teeth and says Anakin died in the Clone Wars. Infuriated by this, Luke howls and throws himself at Yoda. The diminutive Jedi is nearly cut down but manages to bring his lightsaber up. He leaps from tree to tree, jumping down or lashing out at Luke. They exchange blows and carry on their fight. Despite his age, Yoda proves to be a fierce opponent. His movements are graceful and quick, making it impossible for Luke to land a blow. Instead, he decides to use his resourcefulness, and as Yoda leaps up to dodge an attack, Luke uses the Force to pull the tree down, letting it topple on top of Yoda. He lands on the ground with the tree pinning him in place. Luke places his lightsaber against his throat, saying that he knows he's lying. He says that Vader was right about them the whole time. However, rather than kill him, Luke begins to walk away, telling Yoda to rot on this planet. With that business done, he contacts Vader and tells him he will join him. Pleased, Vader orders Luke to meet him aboard the Death Star too. There they plan to overthrow the Emperor and take control of the station. Instead of revealing himself before the Emperor, Luke is sent to the shield generator in anticipation of the rebel attack. When they surround the facility and try to capture it, Luke steps out and ignites his lightsaber, now blood red in color. The rebels can only gasp as a wave of force sends most of them flying. Luke quickly disarms Leia, Chewbacca, and Han while his troops emerge from the bunker. I have no desire to harm any of you, but I can't have you getting in my way.
Getting in your way for what?
To overthrow the Emperor. I have a chance to end this war right now, but only if things go according to plan. Let me do this, and I vow to change the Empire for the better.
Huh. So that's what this is all about? A power grab?
You don't understand. I've seen the power of the Empire. This isn't a fight you can win.
Oh, and you care about our lives so much. That's why you're taking us prisoner. Where's all that talk of loyalty and friendship? You're no different than the Emperor, or Vader.
Don't act as if you understand what's going on.
Oh, and you know Vader's so...
He was cut off by Luke's lightsaber, which slices through his neck. Leia screams in anguish and has to be restrained by the stormtroopers. She tells Luke how much she hates him, but he barely hears her as he simply orders the officers to secure her and the other prisoners while he returns to the Death Star. No one questions him as he makes his way over to the throne room, where Palpatine sits in waiting. Though surprised, the Emperor beckons him over. Luke kneels and shares a secret nod with Vader. The rebels have been captured, my lord. Excellent. You have done well, boy. With all due respect, I wasn't talking to you. Vader suddenly swings his lightsaber at Palpatine, who hurriedly leaps back. The blade instead slices the top of his throne. The father and son look at each other and draw their weapons. Shocked at this development, Palpatine quickly pulls out his lightsaber and lunges at Vader, intending to cut the traitor down. Like Yoda, Palpatine remains strong in his old age and manages to force the Dark Lord back. Before Palpatine can finish him off, Luke jumps between them and unleashes his attacks. Palpatine smiles scornfully at him, then shoves him back with a powerful blow, strengthened by the Force. Though it takes him off balance, Luke stays on his feet and tries to counter. Surprised at how powerful Luke is, Palpatine senses the strength in him and his potential as an apprentice. He turns and unleashes a burst of lightning on Vader, dropping him to his knees. Palpatine smiles and watches him crumple to the ground. You see, Luke, there is much more about the dark side than what your father knows. Join me, and I shall teach you everything. I already know enough to kill you. We shall see. He directs the lightning to Luke, but he's ready for it and blocks the attack. Palpatine drives more power into the blast, intent on overwhelming Luke. But Vader gets to his feet and strikes Palpatine from the back, stabbing him through the heart. With the Emperor dead, Vader takes command of the battle. Luke sends a fleet-wide transmission, ordering the rebels to surrender. To prove his point, he has the Death Star target the Home One and destroy it with a single shot. The destruction of the rebel flagship crushes rebel morale, and most ships surrender on the spot. Surprisingly, Luke keeps his promise and spares the prisoners he takes, even allowing them to join the Imperial army. On the surface, Luke says he is modernizing the Empire and making the necessary reforms. And for the most part that is true, as he ends most of its most oppressive practices. But secretly, he begins to fill the military with people loyal to him. Their fight with the Emperor leaves Vader weakened, and Luke has still never fully forgiven his father for what he did to Obi-Wan. It will take time, but he will eventually overthrow him. All he needs is an apprentice. Luke watches the surveillance footage of the detention level. Only a handful of prisoners had refused his offer of amnesty. Most were pacing aimlessly or simply staring at the walls. But one was meditating, planning, contemplating. His dear sister. Luke smiles to himself as he prepares to approach her. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.